1955, Emma Gatewood was the first woman to hike the 2,168-mile Appalachian Trail, solo, at the age of 67. Initially thinking the trip would be a nice lark, she drolly replied, "It wasn't." Like many of these women, my chief reason for hiking is to walk off an inordinate attachment to words. I'm there to let the mind empty itself, usually after a long period of overuse. I follow my body instead, as it focuses on the demands of the trail. The last thing I want is a prepackaged interpretation of somebody else's experience. Taking a saint along on the trail, therefore, isn't an intellectual exercise. It's more like hiking with a Zen master, having someone to slap me upside the head as may be required. The words of the saint aren't meant to absorb me in thoughtful insight. More often than not, they stop thought altogether. Pay attention to what's going on around and within you, right now. That's what they invariably insist. So I seldom spend much time poring over a book in the wilderness. I graze, like bighorn sheep making their way over a rocky crag. I ponder lines I've underlined in a previous reading. I let the words sink in. Poetry is usually the best choice. A single saying of the desert fathers and mothers can be more than enough. Sometimes the experience of the trip may evoke an altogether different author from the one I've carried with me. Kicking myself for making a big mistake on the trail, I may have to go home to reread Luther on forgiveness. Witnessing an ecological disaster that cries out for justice, I return to dig out my worn-out copy of The Essential Gandhi. Saints have a way of coming to mind even when they haven't been brought along on the trail. The reality to which they point doesn't need a text to bring it to life. What makes this practice all the more necessary is that I'm a recovering scholar, a university professor overly dependent upon words, working his program. For too long I've been addicted to footnotes, a compulsive attachment to critical analysis, an ugly habit of reading and writing to impress others. I've been trying for years, as an academic in recovery, to lure myself out of the university and into the wilderness. I've been asking how the history of spirituality and a study of place, especially wild places, illumine the spiritual life. I long to hear the saints speak with a stark clarity 6 miles in from the trailhead. Their task is to call me up short. They leave me speechless before a mystery that's beyond my understanding, but not beyond my love. Become a lover, urged Hafiz, the 14th century Sufi mystic. As long as you see yourself as learned and intellectual, you'll lodge with the idiots. Moreover, if you can stop seeing yourself at all, you will be free. Candor is essential here. After 30 years of modest experience, I'm still a novice with respect to the skills of backpacking and wilderness wandering. I stand in amazement at Robert Cull's fortitude in spending a year alone on a deserted island off the coast of Patagonia. I am in awe of Doug Peacock's reckless forays into the grizzly country of northern Montana. I marvel at Craig Child's rambling through the Utah desert for weeks at a time, disappearing from civilization as we know it. Compared to them, I'm just another Ed Abbey wannabe, like a lot of Western storytellers after a couple of beers in the local tavern. All I know is that solo backpacking is a practice that feeds me, even in moderately tame wilderness terrain. I don't have to face down grizzly bears or survive flash floods in desert slot canyons to feel fully alive in backcountry. Facing down myself is enough. Flash floods of imagined dangers are as scary for me as real ones. The interior landscape is the most dangerous territory I'm likely to explore. Yet to get there, I have to keep venturing further up and further in, as Aslan urged at the end of the Narnia tales. The spiritual life, in my experience, is a matter of moving ever deeper into